Hello, friends.
Hello, hello.
Mhm.
So today we are going to do some very preliminary intro in how to fork a repository and then contribute a pull request back to the main repository so we can show off the work to everybody. So we are here on the Summer Playgrounds Ascension repository. And what you'll want to do is first make sure that you have a GitHub account and that you're logged in. You see Boris up here. That's Pablo's avatar.
Mhm.
And there's several things happening here, and it can be a little overwhelming, but they're the main buttons you're going to care about are over here. So one thing you probably want to do, you might want to watch the repository. Pablo's watching it by default.
What does watching means?
Watching just means that if you want to see notifications of activity, then you can select the appropriate level of notification you're interested in.
Oh, okay.
So participating in mentions is probably what you care about most. If your file is touched or your pull request is touched, that's what you want to see.
Be aware.
Yeah. I also recommend you star the repository so that you have it up top in your repository list.
That's what I am not. So my reactions are not made up.
Uh-huh.
It annoys me a lot that I have so many repositories and there's a few that I'm actively searching, and I didn't know that you could do that.
Let me blow your mind one step further. You can even put them in lists. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah, this
Wow.
a game changer, right?
This is a game changer. You will save me like 30, I don't know, 10 seconds per day, which
Yeah.
accumulates to years throughout the centuries. Thank you, Cal.
So with all that extra time, you
Mhm.
can start doing some developments.
Mhm.
So what do you do? How do you do that?
Mhm.
Well, if you want to add to this repository, probably the easiest way is to fork the repository, which, as it says here, makes a copy
Mhm.
in your account.
Mhm.
What does a copy mean? Well, it doesn't just mean the files are copied. It means the entire repository is copied, including all the history and all the contributions from everyone. So I'm going to say just copy the main branch because I don't think
Yep.
there are any other ones.
Yep. And if we wanted to, we could just change the name.
Yeah, you
We
can change the
don't have
name,
to, but we
change
could.
the description, whatever, because the fork is your own version of this repository.
Okay.
But GitHub makes things very nice because while it is your own version of the repository, it still knows that it's tied to what's called the upstream repository. So
Oh.
Ascension, Summer Playgrounds, main.
Mhm.
But you see, we live in you now.
Yeah, perfect. Makes sense. Yeah.
Some of the things you can do from here, if other people are making changes upstream, this is the
Mhm.
terminology, you probably want to pull them into your repository so you can see what everybody's working on. And you would click the sync fork button for that. Right now, you're not behind the upstream, so nothing to do.
Mhm.
GitHub tells us to enjoy our day, so let's try that. But let's say you're the one that's actually trying to contribute some stuff.
Before we continue,
Yeah.
move this in here because I don't know if it's recording our faces. Maybe not, but at least people can see us. Okay.
And you are sharing the correct screen.
Yes. Yes.
Good, good, good.
Yes. I hope.
So now you're the one that's actually doing the work and you want to contribute something upstream. We don't want to give everybody keys to the repository because it's very easy, it turns out, to delete everything that's in a repository. So that's why we're going with the fork and pull request method. And I'll explain what that is in a sec, but let's say that we now want to actually do a little bit of code development. Pablo's probably told you about code spaces before.
Yep.
And this is by no means the only way. You can also just drag and drop files from your computer if you prefer to work there. Depends on what you like to do with your particular workflow. So what I'm going to do though, I'm going to open up code spaces. I'm going to go into playground one. I'm going to make a file that says, what's playground one all about?
Oh, integrals and derivatives.
All right, so let's make a file.
Something happened.
Uh-oh.
I think you touched the mouse.
Very easy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make a Jupyter notebook here. And as you maybe learned in the code spaces, you have to install Python, a few extensions here or there. But all in all, it takes you about 5 minutes to get up and running. And let's just say here, let's try to run it.
Amazing. A year ago, I didn't know how to do these things.
You've come so far.
I have come so far.
Make sure you select Python environments, and then this is going to be your default environment. And then hopefully at that point, it should run. Wow, we imported NumPy. Perfect. So this is a great start to any kind of scientific code. So that's all we're going to do. We're going to make sure that we have saved our notebook. Here, hold on. We can also do this right here. My awesome integrals. So we save. Now, if you prefer to do things graphically, you'll want to commit over here.
I prefer that.
Okay. So you want to stage your changes.
What does that mean?
Staging your changes. So if you don't stage your changes, then the Git tracker will see that you've made changes, but you didn't ask it to stage them for commit. It didn't ask you to make them ready to be committed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you just commit without staging them, then nothing will happen.
Okay.
So let's make a commit. Let's say preliminary file for integral playground 1.
Perfect.
Commit. Very nice. So let's put it into our out box here. So this is, we've changed things locally on our cloud server with the code spaces. But now we want to say, all right, I'm ready. I'm going to sync it.
Yes.
Upstream, but to your upstream.
Exactly.
So if we go back over here, let's get rid of this, do a refresh.
Perfect. In playground 1 is the thing.
Yep. And we see the commit that Pablo just made here into Pablo's repository. And it even tells you helpfully that now you are 1 commit ahead of Ascension's upstream.
What will happen if somebody in there makes a commit as well that is different? How do you determine ahead or behind in this scenario?
So it depends on if you're touching the same file, which I think in this case, nobody's going to be touching the exact same file because you're adding your own contribution. Hopefully you're not going in and messing with your friend's files. But if you do happen to touch the same file in the same round of commits, then it's going to tell you that there's a conflict and it's going to ask you to resolve the conflict.
Perfect.
Conflict resolution is very important.
Yes.
And it's actually not too hard. With Jupyter Notebooks, it can be a little annoying because it's such a structured file. It's probably better to just go in and choose one as truth and just copy what was made from the other one into that.
That makes sense.
So we've changed things locally in Pablo's repository. We want to contribute it back to Ascension. How do we do that? We hit contribute. And it even tells you helpfully here, you're 1 commit ahead. You can open a pull request to contribute your changes upstream.
Okay.
So we're going to open a pull request. The reason it's called a pull request is because we are requesting the upstream repository to pull our change into their code. So the commit here is already pulled, or sorry, the title is already pulled from the commit that we had. If there were conflicts, they would show up here. It would show up that it's not able to be merged. You can also change many things here. For most of the use cases, I don't think you're going to have to worry about it. Then you can say here,
this is my playground.
Still working. on the playground, but it's the start.
We imported NumPy.
That's right. That's right. I'll say this
First place.
first place.
It looks like an orange.
Yes.
Okay.
If you have any other things you want to add here, for the purposes of this repository, you might want to add a PDF where you're working some things out or you have some questions. You can add any file at all attached to this pull request here. And you can also do styling of this description if for some reason you need to go into detail using Markdown. So if you want somebody to look at it specifically, you can assign people. So Pablo gets to assign himself. Ta-da.
Fantastic.
But anything you push here, it will be seen by the repository owner, so no problem. Then you just hit create pull request. And now it exists. Notice here, we were on Ascension's organization, Summer Playground repository, and up here in pull requests, we have a few things. So Playground 1 from one of you out there, and Pablo's one that he just made.
Okay.
And whenever the time comes, there can be some discussion here back and forth between everybody. Everybody can type in here, I think. Yeah, let's give it a heart.
Yes.
Everybody can type in here. Everybody can engage. And whenever we want to merge it in, which is pretty early, I think, for the purposes here, one of the maintainers will put merge pull request.
Okay.
Do you want to do that now?
Yeah. I want to leave this code forever in there.
So we confirm merge. We're happy by what this name.
Perfect.
And now the pull request has been closed because it's been merged. We are probably going to leave these pull requests open just to have the discussion there in forever. But it's giving you the option here that says that you can now delete your fork. Depending on how you like to do your development, maybe you want to do that, maybe you don't. If you're going to be changing things in here pretty frequently, then maybe you don't want to delete it. Maybe you have sort of a running local branch that you're dealing with. But you saw how easy it was to fork. So if you do delete it, it's okay. You just make a new one whenever you want. So any questions, Pablo?
This was fantastic explanation. Much better than whatever I tried to do during class. So thank you, Kyle.
Good.
No, this was fantastic. Thank you. Anything else you want to add?
No, I don't think so. Any future questions of the mysteries of Git?
Yes, I will request help of the Git guru.
Yes,
that we have at the lab. That's it, everybody. See you tomorrow for class, and I hope that you're having a fantastic time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.